Alright, today's video is going to be a win now mode challenge with Matt Ryan and the Indianapolis Colts. So obviously here's the offense we are starting with. We need to improve our O-line, otherwise Matt Ryan is going to absolutely get murdered. We do have Jonathan Taylor and Michael Pittman. Pittman is a star depth trait, Taylor obviously an X factor, that will be a huge help. On the defensive side, we have guys like Darius Leonard who are superstar depth traits. We have DeForest Buckner who is an X factor. And we have Stephon Gilmore, who is 94 overall and 30 years old, so his ratings are probably going to start taking a hit. So we're going to try to get him a ring as fast as possible as well. There are some guys at the top of the free agent list that are here that are retired. I guess whoever made this roster did not lower their ratings or anything. I'm not going to sign them though because I feel like that'll be pretty cheap, but we are going to sign a couple of these free agents. The first one I'm going to bring in is wide receiver Julio Jones. Obviously, I think this makes a lot of sense. He has chemistry with Matt Ryan. We need another receiver, so let's bring in Julio Jones. And because we have the roster space, we're going to bring in Odell Beckham as well. He is coming off an injury in real life. Well, we will sign him and put him probably as our slot receiver. We are also going to sign right guard Darrell Williams because I think our starting right guard was like a 50-something overall. So yeah, we'll go ahead and bring him in. I did have to make sure that Dwayne Brown did not retire. Wikipedia says he's just currently a free agent. It does not say he retired. So we're going to bring in Dwayne Brown to play left tackle. So here is the starting offense, and it looks like Darrell Williams is injured, so I moved one of the other guys up to backup right guard. That way we don't have a 59 overall there or 58 overall. So it looks like Odell will actually be our number one receiver, and Michael Pittman will most likely be our slot receiver. On defense, here is the lineup now. It looks like Kwity Paye has a hidden depth trait, so that'll be good for us. He was their first round pick a couple years ago. Obviously, I cannot update stuff like that. And then specialist. This is what I wanted to see. Yeah, Michael Pittman will be in the slot. So we will go ahead and jump to midseason, see how good we are, and go from there. So we jump to week 8, and we are 4-3, tied with the Titans for second in the division. The Jaguars lead the division at 4-2. Matt Ryan has thrown for about 2,000 yards, 17 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. Rushing-wise, Jonathan Taylor, 89 carries, 462 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Receiving-wise, Pittman, 33 catches for 5 touchdowns. Odell, 30 for 4. Julio has caught a couple touchdowns. Looks like Jack Doyle caught one. Naheem Hines, Mo Alley-Cox, Jonathan Taylor, and Jelani Woods have all caught a touchdown. Leading the team in tackles is Bobby Okereke and Kenny Moore II. I hope I said that first guy's name right. In sacks, DeForest Buckner has 4. What about picks? Stephon Gilmore has 3. We have the 3rd ranked offense in the league, which is pretty good, obviously. And on defense, we have the 15th, so we need to tighten that up a little bit. Points per game, we are 6th on offense, and on defense, we are 26th in points per game. But from here, I will jump to the playoffs. We will see if we can win the division or sneak in as a wild card to see if we can get a Super Bowl here in Season 1. Well, it looks like we had quite the turnaround. We finished 13-4 and get the 1 seed in the playoffs. Here is how the rest of the playoffs have set up so far. It looks like the Cardinals are the 1 seed on the NFC side. And here is how the first round of the playoffs went. The Ravens take out the Browns. The Chiefs dominate the Broncos 52-14. The Packers knock out the Cowboys. The Falcons knock out the Seahawks. And the Bears knock out the Eagles. And now I will simulate our first playoff game against the 12-5 Ravens to see if we can keep our Super Bowl hopes alive. Sadly, we do not win. We get beat by the Ravens 28-21. Let's see how everyone played in this game. Matt Ryan goes 20 of 28 for 262 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Rushing-wise, Naheem Hines, 13 for 24. It looks like we were without Jonathan Taylor today, which could have been a huge factor. Receiving-wise, Mo Alley-Cox, 5 for 71. Michael Pittman caught a touchdown, and Odell Beckham caught a touchdown. It does not look like Lamar Jackson played that well. 13 of 20 for 150 yards and 1 touchdown. Rushing-wise, J.K. Dobbins, 19 for 73 and 2 scores, and Lamar Jackson, 9 for 51. If this is Matt Ryan's final year, he had one hell of a season. 5,300 yards, 41 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. Rushing-wise, Jonathan Taylor, 170 carries for 13 touchdowns. Receiving-wise, Michael Pittman caught 101 passes for 1,500 yards and 11 touchdowns. Odell Beckham, 78 catches, 1,300 yards, and 14 touchdowns. Julio Jones only caught 3 touchdowns, but he still had 850 yards. Bobby Okereke led the team in tackles with 104. Tackles for loss was DeForest Buckner. Sacks was Yannick Ngakoue with 17. And then interceptions, Bobby Okereke had 6, Stephon Gilmore got 4, Kenny Moore got 2, and Khari Willis got 2. Just taking a quick look at the league stats, Tom Brady barely leads the league in passing yards, barely beating out Matt Ryan. In touchdowns, Patrick Mahomes threw 44, Ryan threw 41, interceptions, Kenny Pickett and Derek Carr both threw 20. Derrick Henry goes for over 2,000 yards, and in touchdowns, Chris Carson led the league with 17. Antonio Brown, who apparently came out of retirement to sign with the Bears, caught 105 passes for 12 touchdowns, Chris Godwin 103 for only 5 touchdowns, and Michael Pittman with 101 catches for 11 touchdowns. Myles Jack led the league in tackles with 140, and sacks, that would be Myles Garrett with 24.5, and in picks, Xavier Howard got 7. We finished with the 5th ranked offense in points per game, number 1 in offensive passing yards. Did not run the ball very well apparently. Defensive points per game, we finished 7th, and yards per game, we got 5th. And here's how the rest of the playoffs played out. Looks like we have the 3-seed Kansas City Chiefs taking on the 7-seed Green Bay Packers. And the Kansas City Chiefs win the Super Bowl 31-24. The NFL MVP was Kyler Murray. Coach of the Year was Urban Meyer. That's not good. Offensive Player of the Year was Kyler Murray. Defensive Player of the Year was Myles Garrett. Offensive Rookie of the Year was Justin Fields, even though he's not technically a rookie anymore. And Defensive Rookie of the Year is Trayvon Walker. The only player that retires for us is left tackle Dwayne Brown, so we get at least one more season out of Matt Ryan. And I would say the biggest retirement of this offseason is Aaron Rodgers retiring after losing in the Super Bowl. Now at the re-signing period, we're not going to bring back any of these guys. I tried to bring back Odell, but he did not want the contract that I offered him. We're going to try to bring him back in free agency. Julio is now an 80 overall. I really don't think he's worth bringing back anymore. And Darrell Williams is a 75 overall right guard that we're going to see if we can upgrade from in free agency. All right, there are 3 players that I'm offering contracts here. Odell Beckham, who is in a bidding war, we are trying to get him back. Darrell Williams, I'm trying to get back. There was not really a better right guard available in free agency. And then Eric Wilson, I'm trying to bring in as a backup middle linebacker. If you look at the rest of these guys, there is no one that I'm really thrilled about trying to bring in. We might bring in like Antonio Brown or even Rob Gronkowski. I feel like now it's okay to sign them because you could say that they came out of retirement. But yeah, outside of that, there's really no one I'm too thrilled about signing. I managed to land all 3 targets, so we have Odell Beckham coming back, Darrell Williams coming back, and we have a backup middle linebacker now. There are still some quality free agents left, but I want to see what we have available in the draft, and if I don't like anyone in the draft like a lot, I will probably just pull like a St. Louis Rams and start trading every draft pick we have. But we do not have a first round pick this year because in real life it belonged to the Philadelphia Eagles in this offseason. And we are here at the draft. We have the 28th pick in the 2nd round, but let's see what the first few picks are. The New York Jets will take a defensive back out of Tennessee, Sterling Givens, and then the Lions have picked 2 and 4. Let's see how they do with these picks. They take Josh Parker, a defensive back. All right, very defensive back heavy draft. The Chargers with the 3rd pick will take Hunter Rollins, a right guard out of Oklahoma, and then the Lions with the 4th pick will take Joe Rosen out of Auburn, and then the 5th pick belongs to Washington, and they take Rodney Hancock out of USC. Before we get too far into this draft, I wanted to see what Matt Ryan's current ratings are. He is down to a 76 overall, an 80 with whatever current boost he has, which is to deep accuracy, medium, short. Okay, so we have some morale boost right now, which is pretty good. All right, and with my first pick in the draft, I am trading for Matt Milano from the Buffalo Bills. I gave up a 2 and a 4, and we now have a right outside linebacker. Okay, now I'm at the end of the 3rd round, and if you don't know how to do franchise rebuilds, I pick the first 3 rounds, and then I let the computer draft the rest because I don't really scout these classes. But I'm looking at Carlos Drayton, who is projected to go in round 1 or 2. He's here at the end of 3, which is generally not a good sign, but he was 2nd in bench reps at the Combine, 8th at the Pro Day. He's got A impact block, D pass block power, and run block finesse, but B pass block, so we're going to go ahead and take Carlos Drayton. Okay, so not a very good draft class here. Carlos Drayton is only a 63 overall. I knew he was probably going to be bad. A 67 outside linebacker, a 64 left guard, and a 64 running back. In case you were curious, the best player in the class was an 83 overall running back that went to Atlanta with a hidden depth trait. He is going to be incredibly good, a 96 speed running back. I'm curious if I could pull off a trade for DK Metcalf. Like I said, we're going all in with Matt Ryan here. Let's see if we can get him a superstar receiver, and they're not willing to do that trade. Not really a shocker. Let's see if they'll take this, a 1 and 2 twos for Hunter Henry, and they will. So we get Hunter Henry from the Patriots. because I think this is going to be Matt Ryan's last season, honestly. And if not, he is going to take a major ratings hit. So we're going all in right now. And I've now made this trade for wide receiver Curtis Samuel to come in and be our slot receiver. So obviously we have Matt Ryan at quarterback. We still have Jonathan Taylor at running back. Wide receiver now looks like Michael Pittman, Odell Beckham, and Curtis Samuel will most likely be the slot. At tight end, we still have Mo Alley Cox because it looks like Hunter Henry is injured. Nice. Checking out the injury report, we are only missing Hunter Henry for 1 game, and then he should be back. So we're going to go ahead and jump to mid-season and see how good this team is this year. At week 8, we are 5-1 and first in the division, so we are off to a really, really good start. And Matt Ryan is absolutely balling out. 1,900 yards, 18 touchdowns to only 1 interception. Rushing-wise, Jonathan Taylor only has a couple touchdowns. Receiving, Michael Pittman's having a good year, 44 catches for 6 touchdowns. Curtis Samuel, 24 for 5. Odell Beckham, 23 for 3. Leading the team in tackles is Darius Leonard with 50. What about sacks? We got DeForest Buckner with 4.5, and interceptions. Kenny Moore has 2, Stephon Gilmore has 1, and Kari Willis has 1. Right now, we are the 18th ranked offense, which is honestly a lot lower than I was expecting to be, and on defense, we are 6th. So now I will jump to the end of the season, and we will see what seed we are in the playoffs, or if we completely fall apart. We finished the season 15-2, which is obviously amazing, but we are not even the 1 seed. Kansas City goes 16-1 to earn the 1 seed. That is absolutely insane. So here's the playoff bracket. I really figured at 15-2 we'd have a bye week, but nope, we get to play Tennessee in round 1. And going into this game, we now have the number 1 offense in the league and the number 3 defense. So let's see how that holds up in the playoffs. And we get our first playoff win in this rebuild, taking down the Titans 35-13. And Matt Ryan played really well. 22 of 29, 372 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Rushing-wise, Jonathan Taylor, 16 for 92 in a score. Nyheim Hines ran in for a touchdown. And Curtis Samuel, 6 for 144 in a touchdown. Odell Beckham, 7 for 117 in a score. And Hunter Henry got a touchdown. So now let's see if we can take down the Bills and head to the conference championship. Sadly, our season ends there. We lose to Buffalo 45-42. We had the number 3 defense and let up 45 points. Matt Ryan goes 30 of 38 for 362 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. Rushing-wise, Jonathan Taylor, 7 carries for 113 yards and 3 touchdowns, averaged 16 yards a carry. Alright, Hunter Henry caught 11 passes for a touchdown and 121 yards. Nyheim Hines caught a touchdown. What happened on the defensive side of the ball, though? Josh Allen goes 25 of 34 for 369 yards and 4 touchdowns. Devin Singletary ran in for a couple. Gabriel Davis gashed us for 109 yards. Stephon Diggs had 91. And Dawson Knox, I about called him Devin Knox, caught 6 passes for 73 yards and a touchdown. We will have to see if this is Matt Ryan's final year if he decides to retire off this. 5,300 yards, 43 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. I would not blame him if he decided to go out like that. Rushing-wise, Jonathan Taylor over 1,000 yards and 16 touchdowns. Receiving-wise, Curtis Samuel, 94 catches for 12 touchdowns, so that trade was definitely worth it. Odell Beckham, 975 yards and 9 touchdowns. Hunter Henry caught 5, and Michael Pittman caught 7. Darius Leonard leads the team in tackles with 105. What about sacks? That goes to DeForest Buckner with 16.5, and picks goes to Stephon Gilmore with 6 in his 12th year. And Tom Brady once again leads the league in yards with 5,400. And then who led the league in touchdowns was Matt Ryan with 43, and in picks was Desmond Ridder with 21, but he also threw for 5,000 yards. Ezekiel Elliott leads the league in yards with 1,776 and touchdowns with 26. That second place was 16, not even close. Allen Lazard catches 121 passes for 15 touchdowns. Both of those lead the league, and in yards he also led the league, so he takes like the triple crown this year. Demario Davis leads the league in tackles with 141. In tackles for loss was Aaron Donald. He also led the league in sacks with 24. And AJ Boye, I hope I'm going to say that right, or Bowie, not real sure which. Either way, he had 7 picks. We had 7,000 offensive yards this year. That is just absolutely insane. So we get a rematch from a few years ago in the Super Bowl as the 49ers will take on the Chiefs, who have only lost 1 game this year. And the Chiefs get back-to-back Super Bowl wins as they beat the 49ers 24-23. The NFL MVP is Ezekiel Elliott. Coach of the Year is Mike McCarthy. Offensive Player of the Year is Zeke. Defensive Player of the Year is Aaron Donald. And then Joe Rosen and Jared Bean won Rookie of the Year. And no one has retired on the Colts, so we get one more season of Matt Ryan. Let's go see how bad he got. Last season, he was a 76 overall without any of his boosts. Now he will be a 70 overall without any of his boosts. Right now, due to his morale, he is a 74 though. Now in the re-signing period, and we are sort of in cap space hell after this. Quentin Nelson has been franchise tagged because he tried to leave. Yannick Ngakoue has been re-signed. Bobby Okereke has been signed. I really don't think I can afford to bring back Kari Willis because I would have no cap space whatsoever. So that kind of sucks, but we bring back Rodrigo Blankenship. Dale Williams going to hit free agency again. It kind of sucks to lose a guy like Paris Campbell, but we have 3 really good receivers that are still under contract right now. So we will have to see how this team looks. I really think last year was probably Super Bowl or bust, and now we're going to hit some cap space hell. I have never seen this before. Lamar Jackson has hit free agency and wants a 7-year, $310 million contract. I have never seen a contract that high in this game. So because of the cap space hell that I have put this team in, and I knew I was going to do that with the way I was building it, we were only able to make one offer, and that is Landon Collins, so we now have a starting strong safety. But looking at the league signings, Lamar Jackson is headed to Jacksonville, where they gave him 7 years, $245 million. And because I traded all 3 first-round picks this year, we have no picks until the 4th round, which means the CPU will pick this entire draft for me. But I want to see who the number 1 pick is going to Houston. It is Josh Whitaker, a defensive back out of Clemson. The CPU actually did not have a bad draft. They took a 68 overall corner, a 69 overall receiver, a 66 overall right end, and a 67 overall receiver. The best player in the draft, though, was Isaiah Edwards, who was the 2nd corner taken by Baltimore. So the start of the season may be pretty rough because we are missing our starting right tackle for at least the first game. Jonathan Taylor will miss the first 6 weeks of the season. That is going to hurt our offense a bit. This will be the 3rd and final season in this challenge. Matt Ryan is a 70 overall, no morale boost, just a base 70 overall right now. He starts the season without Jonathan Taylor, but he still has Nyheim Hines, who's an 82 overall backup. Michael Pittman's a 90. He has 2 83 overall receivers in Odell Beckham and Curtis Samuel, an 88 overall in Hunter Henry. The offensive line is not good, I'm not going to lie. That is a weak point on this team, and then the defense is still really, really solid. The offense has a rating of 85, the defense has a rating of 87, and the team overall is an 85. So this is still a solid team, so we will jump to midseason and see how we have done. This is one hell of a start. We are 6-0. I did not expect that. Matt Ryan with 1,900 yards, 19 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. Rushing-wise, Nyheim Hines, 94 carries for 2 touchdowns. Receiving, Curtis Samuel, 32 catches for 11 touchdowns. Michael Pittman, 28 for 5. Hunter Henry, Odell Beckham, and Nyheim Hines all have 1. Bobby Okereke is leading the team in tackles with 49. In sacks, it is Yannick Ngakoue with 7.5. And Darius Leonard is leading the team with 2 interceptions. I'll be honest, I don't know how we are 6-0 because we are the 18th ranked offense and the 15th ranked defense. So we're an interesting 6-0 team. But now I will jump to the end of the season to see if we remain undefeated somehow, or if we at least can get into the playoffs. So we finished the season 13-4. We do win the division and make the playoffs. Let's see, we should be the 2nd seed, and we are. The Chiefs are yet again the 1 seed. Usually I will wait till the end of the season to look at stats, but since this is guaranteed to be our last year, let's go ahead and take a look at them now. Matt Ryan with 5,300 yards, 47 touchdowns to 14 interceptions. Rushing-wise, Jonathan Taylor ends with 112 carries for 14 touchdowns, missing near about half the season. Receiving, Hunter Henry, 96 catches for 9 touchdowns, but Curtis Samuel, 68 catches for 15 touchdowns. Bobby Okereke leads the team in tackles with 140. That may lead the league, actually. In sacks, it is Yannick Ngakoue with 12, and interceptions, Stephon Gilmore got 3. And for the 3rd year in a row, Tom Brady, in his 24th year now, 5,500 yards, 41 touchdowns, and 20 interceptions. Matt Ryan led the league in touchdown passes, and interceptions was Mac Jones with 24. Derrick Henry leads the league in rushing yards with 1,800. In touchdowns, it was Alvin Kamara and James Robinson with 20 apiece. Cooper Kupp catches 121 passes for 1,500 yards. Both of those lead the league, and in touchdowns, it was Curtis Samuel with 15. In the wildcard round, we will be missing our backup center. It looks like we are also missing wide receiver Curtis Samuel, who, as you just saw, caught 15 touchdowns on the season. So that is a huge miss for our offense. So let's hope we can get out of the wild card round as we face the Cleveland Browns so we can get our receiver back. But they have a 91 overall offense. This is a very good team. How in the hell did they go 9-8? Sadly, this challenge will end here. The Browns beat us 24-17. Matt Ryan goes 24 of 35 for 320 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. Rushing-wise, Nyheim Hines, 5 carries for 11 yards. Jonathan Taylor, 5 for 10, so we did not run the ball well at all. Receiving-wise, Odell Beckham, 5 for 79 and a score. Jonathan Taylor, 7 for 73. Deshaun Watson goes 16 of 24 for 191 yards and a touchdown. Rushing-wise, Nick Chubb, 19 for 114 and a score. And Perry Strong Jr., it looks like an auto-generated player, goes 13 for 49 and a score. Receiving-wise, David Njoku, 5 for 66, and then Nick Chubb is the only one to catch a touchdown. Here is how the rest of the playoffs played out, and the Chiefs and the Seahawks will meet in the Super Bowl. The Chiefs have a chance to win their 3rd straight Super Bowl here. So let's just look at this year by year. In Season 1 of this challenge, the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. In Season 2, they won the Super Bowl. And in Season 3, they won the Super Bowl. So the Kansas City Chiefs three-peat in this one episode. The MVP goes to Kyler Murray, Coach of the Year goes to Arthur Smith, Offensive Player of the Year goes to Kyler, Defensive Player of the Year goes to Trayvon Walker, and then Jake Anderson and Martin Burke both win Rookie of the Year. So that will wrap up this Win Now Mode challenge. We failed to win a Super Bowl. We built a really good team, made the playoffs all 3 years. Matt Ryan put up some insane stats, but he is now a 65 overall, and I just don't believe a Super Bowl is going to happen. I will attempt this again at some point, most likely in Madden 23 though, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you guys next time.